Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy Luna, Senior Editor at Nation's Restaurant News. Today, on our latest Zoom chat, we have Kim Greer, Chief Marketing Officer of Torrance, California-based Yoshinoya America, the parent company of Yoshinoya Japanese Kitchen. Before coming to the legacy chain, Kim was Vice President of Brand Marketing at Blaze Pizza. Yoshinoya turned to Kim to help lead the chain into the on-demand digital era. Then COVID-19 happened, right? So how are you doing today, first of all?
So far, so good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, great. Well, what drew you to Yoshinoya after helping fast track the growth at Blaze?
You know, it's so interesting. Yoshinoya is one of the oldest restaurant concepts in operation with over 2,000 locations worldwide, you know, starting in 1899 in Tokyo with the original beef bowl that started it all. And it's really the fact that the brand is so rich in its history that attracted it to me, and the opportunity to build on its recent brand refresh and to build a digital infrastructure here and continue cultivating fans for years and years to come. And you know, that's the interesting part, and I should say challenging part, right?
Yeah.
About joining a legacy brand is that it has all of that history. And so it provides the opportunity and challenge, depending on how you look at it, about continuing to innovate and stay relevant as the world around us continues to move faster and faster, and there's more competitors than ever before, particularly in the restaurant space. And so it was both, I would say, an interesting challenge and opportunity to approach a legacy brand and be part of it.
What was the brand refresh that you were referring to?
Sure. So particularly talking about Yoshinoya in America, had gone through a brand refresh in 2015 that encapsulated really the whole essence of the brand in terms of the look and feel, providing a restaurant decor update to be a lighter and brighter feel, as well as the physical change of both the logo in terms of how that was depicted, getting away from the more traditional bowl, as in B-U-L-L, to bowl in terms of what we eat out of and what we provide to our guests, as well as showcasing the real cooking that we do in the restaurant. You know, it's not microwaves in there, it's real people putting in work. And so the name actually changed to Yoshinoya Japanese Kitchen, which we showcase on our restaurant signage and all of our materials as well. So we're really trying to get that point across, while also allowing an ordering system that allowed for customization as you were ordering, to be able to choose your veggies and choose your base to go with your protein. So that part was new, and digital menu boards at the same time to provide that more modern aesthetic. And so as that part has happened, we've heard great feedback from our guests, and that's really resonated with them. And then, you know, now it's kind of that second stage of it in terms of upping our digital game and really making sure that brand refresh is articulated through all of the pieces and marketing that we do.
So yeah, getting customization to those customers is very important. So what was your playbook going in, Kim, to this building on this refresh, and then how did that completely change or maybe accelerate during when COVID hit? Because you started in February, is that right? And then,
you know, I started in March, so it's so funny you asked
March.
That, because day 4, my 4th day was the first day at stay at home. And so I would quite honestly say the playbook I had got thrown out the window, and it was time to be laser focused in terms of guest speed of service, safety, and convenience. And so with that top of mind, in working with the team to double down in terms of fast tracking the mobile app development, as well as online ordering, third-party integration, contactless delivery, and tamper-evident packaging were certainly paramount, and that was the goal of just block and tackle. At the same time, it really seemed important to me to be able to give back to the community at that trying time, and immediately establish a task force of people that would, their whole goal is to provide food and meals to hospitals and COVID testing sites and any healthcare workers, to be able to do our part to give back to the community as well when they need it most.
Great. So I understand you just recently also launched a loyalty program. Was that part of your initial game plan, or once again, did you feel you had to accelerate that?
So it was part of the initial game plan here in terms of something that they were working on, but we certainly put full court press behind it to be able to get it all the way through to execution and live as quickly as possible, knowing that we really needed to pivot and move toward off-premise sales and get those channels open and thriving as quickly as possible.
So how does it work, and how does the loyalty program work, and how many members do you have so far?
So we've just been, in the last month, have launched both our first mobile app with our loyalty program called Yoshinoya Rewards, which also includes the online ordering website on yoshinoyaamerica.com. So right now there's an incentive program that if you download the app, you receive an offer for a free regular bowl with the purchase of a drink. So a real juicy offer to get people into the app. And then like other apps, you know, you're able, as you eat more, you earn more, and then you get more free food. So it's really a win-win situation there, that you're able to earn points towards some of your favorites, and just a few easy taps that you can order for either pickup or as well as delivery, because that has seamless integration through dispatch as well. So if you want that delivered to your home, you're able to do that as well. And proud that it's been a resounding success so far. We've got a 4.9 rating on the App Store, and I'm very excited about that and all of the effort that the team has put into it.
Great, I like that. Eat more, gain more. Earn more. I mean, not get. I'm thinking gain more. So part of your strategy was to, I think, was it to accelerate delivery? How did that go? Were they involved with third-party delivery at all prior to the pandemic, and how did that accelerate?
Yeah, so they were not, but since have signed with DoorDash, Postmates, and Uber Eats, and happy to say all stores are active on all three platforms, because for us it was all about providing multiple options and the maximum accessibility to our guests to be able to get Yoshinoya in a bunch of different plethora of options. And so, yeah, that was all new, but we've pivoted to be able to expand and grow the off-premise sales. You know, luckily for us, we had already had about a third of our restaurants with drive-thru. So in addition to takeout and drive-thru, now to have this other sales channel certainly helped us to rebound in the midst of COVID.
There's always a lot of controversy with third party due to the commission fees. Can you address how you handled third party? Do you engage in premium pricing?
Sure. You know, it's one thing too, and that's part of why the brand had waited a little bit longer to get into third party, of making sure it was viable for themselves and the guest, right? And due to where the fees were in the marketplace, and then also waiting for that seamless integration. And so now with the volume of restaurants that are on those sites, the fees have started to drop across the board, and the seamless integration with the POS certainly makes it easier on the operation side, and to make sure that we're providing an elevated guest experience all the way around. For us, if you order a bowl through those platforms, there is a small upcharge to offset the commission, but the other option to our guests is to go on the mobile app or website, which has no upcharge. It's the same price as in restaurant.
Do you offer direct delivery then too?
Absolutely, through the third-party providers. So with app and the website, we have dispatch through there. So you click through our applications, and one of those providers will pick up the order and deliver straight to you, or you can order directly through their sites, whichever you prefer.
Well, that's a smart move, because when you do direct delivery, you get that consumer data, and how important is that?
Absolutely, absolutely. To continue to build and have this kind of pulsed drumbeat of communications to let people know what's going on in terms of safety and at the restaurant, as well as, of course, to provide additional incentives that are relevant to them.
So, you know, since we're talking about delivery, there's been some breaking, news today with regards to possible merger with Grubhub and a European delivery brand. How does that change? What do you think that might change, the delivery space here in the U.S.?
You know, I think it's something that we've all been watching the industry and waiting for it to happen. You know, there's a proliferation at the beginning, and you knew that it was going to kind of shake out to a couple top players. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens if Grubhub and Just Eat does this merger, or if things change again.
Yeah.
But I think it's where people expected the industry probably to go as they're trying to figure out how best to be profitable as well and to capture as much of the marketplace.
You probably had to make these arrangements when you were at Blaze. Do you see a difference? Is it easier to negotiate these days with third party?
You know, it's interesting because in the time that we were doing it, you know, we certainly had done our homework, and so we knew going in terms of maybe what we were asking for. But on the other side too, the providers were certainly taxed with we weren't the only people knocking on the door. Let's say it that
Yeah.
way. And so you needed to make your voice even louder to make sure that you were front in line to be able to launch in a timely manner like you preferred to be.
Everything seems to be going through the cell phone, right? Like how important, social media has always been important, Kim, but you know, how important it is these days and now going into the recovery phase is reaching customers through social media.
You know, I think any way that you can provide convenient, easy access to guests, that's what they want, right? And if they don't, they have the option to opt out. But that's why the mobile app specifically allows us not only email addresses to be able to send communication that way, as well as push notifications direct to their phone. But then on the other side, yeah, social media has never been more important for people to see in real time exactly what you're up to, what you stand for, and what they can expect from you. And so it's a great platform for us to be able to talk to our guests. And actually on our Instagram account, it's one of the ways that we've been creative too, to not only provide the link to download our app, but also we have an order now button that if you want to go and order food, it is a click of the button from our profile page on Instagram, and they'll take you straight to DoorDash, and you'll find the closest Yoshinoya near you.
Can you schedule like pickup as well?
Absolutely.
Ah,
Absolutely.
that's great.
You can schedule ahead or order in the moment.
So you mentioned that 1/3 of your restaurants, of your roughly 100 restaurants, have drive-thrus. How important has that been? And does Yoshinoya, do they plan to leverage that channel in the future in terms of growth?
Absolutely. It's been a lifeblood for us, especially through COVID. People were still willing to come in and do takeout, but drive-through is preferred, right? And so for us, it was about doing drive-through well and making sure that speed of service was as quick as possible. And then, yes, as we continue to expand, I mean, it's crazy to think, but even during COVID, we continue to open restaurants. And so to keep that top of mind as well as we're searching for sites of ones that will be most applicable to the guest base once they open, and drive-through is certainly a large component of that.
So with the digital push and then having that drive-through channel, I understand you haven't reopened any restaurants. Does this mean I could take it, you feel a little comfortable with your sales right now, that you're taking your time?
So to clarify, we haven't reopened the dining room. So
Dining rooms, right.
all of our restaurants are open. You know, we are actively strategizing how best to do so for each site and looking at the floor plans to make sure that we provide a safe and enjoyable experience for our guests. And thinking through in terms of some of the high throughput as people are waiting or coming to order their food and to go, to make sure that there's the proper space for everyone. So it's certainly something we're actively exploring, and more to come on that soon.
Great. So I just want to ask, when it all comes, what's the greatest lesson you can learn from all of this? And maybe what's the most valuable marketing tool, a brand can have during this time, especially as we kind of enter this recovery phase and reopening phase of dining rooms?
You know, for me, it's all about flexibility, right? As the current situation evolves, so too does the brand need to. We need to be able to adapt and pivot. And that's the great part about having a small, nimble organization that can do that, to be able to react in the best possible way to provide a safe guest experience. And at the same time, mindful communication in doing so, right? We need to have this empathetic tone of understanding the climate that we're in and recognizing that. But really, to me, it's all about the flexibility and knowing that, yeah, not everything goes to plan, but as long as you keep the guest as the center of your focus, it's going to be okay.
Great. Well, adaptability is certainly the key, I think, in this time. So thanks, Kim, for chatting with us today, and good luck as you enter this recovery phase. And from what it sounds like, you're leading Yoshinoya in the right direction, and just keep pushing forward. And let's talk again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Nancy.